Hi everyone, welcome y bienvenidos to Presently Aquí and happy Women's Herstory Month. Yes, you heard correct. I said her story because it's not his story anymore. In the past century, women around the world have taken action against the patriarchy while remarkably creating a healing path for the next generation of strong women. Sadly, the patriarchy roots are deep. It will still take some time until all women are free from oppression and have equal rights in this world. Women as a collective have made incredible strides through time, but the fight continues. So here we go. For those of us joining me for the first time, I created Presently Aquí as a platform for the Latino community and friends to discover for the first time or dive deeper into your mindfulness journey. I truly believe that mindfulness is such an instrumental part of our mental health. It's a tool that will help you navigate your everyday worries to help even alleviate that lingering anxiety from the current pandemic that we're still in, unfortunately, but that's life. Additionally, it'll allow us to stay in the present moment more often, and that is where the magic lies. By understanding ourselves, we create this awareness inside, and that becomes the first step and foundation to self love. And always, if you've never been here before, but everyone who has watched before, you know that I like to take a moment to ask all of you, how are you feeling in this very moment? And just take a moment and feel that feeling. And I want you to know that in the spectrum of happy to sad, it's okay where you stand, and that you are enough and you are loved no matter what. In last month's magical webinar, the panelists and I discussed the diverse unity that lives within ourselves, our family, and our society, and what happens when we aren't in alignment with that, and how to maintain and heal that unity. So please check out the webinar if you haven't. It's on Facebook and YouTube. In today's webinar, I am joined by three strong, empowered women, and we will be discussing how we can reshape the conversation around #MeToo and use it to empower us while healing ourselves in the process. I know it sounds like a lot, but as women, we are great multitaskers. And a quick, friendly reminder that this is an interactive session, a live session at that. So please, please, please feel free to join in the conversations. If you have questions as we go on with this wonderful discussion, please do. So now, without further ado, my first guest is the very sweet Charlene Gethens. Charlene is a mindfulness based stress reduction teacher and mindfulness coach, motivational speaker, and therapist. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome Charlene. Hey, Charlene.
Hey, Claudia, thanks for having me here tonight.
Of course. You're welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good,
Hmm.
great. All right, let's go on to my second guest. My second guest is the unapologetic Missy Moreno. Missy is a spiritual fitness coach who helps women lose weight, and by weight, she means mental, emotional, and physical weight, all while gaining confidence, strength, and energy through meditation and fitness techniques. And let's welcome Missy, and also let's all wish her a happy belated birthday. Hi!
Yay! Thank you for having me. I'm so
Oh,
excited to be
so
here.
excited. How are you today, my dear?
I'm feeling good, very refreshed, grounded, and just ready to just be here now.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. And my third guest is the very spirited and fierce Sasha Whitney. Sasha is a spin instructor, mindful meditation and mindset leader, speaker, and podcaster that is very passionate about empowering us women to use our voice in all the spaces that we occupy. Hi, Sasha.
Hi, good
Welcome.
afternoon, good evening. How are you?
I'm great. You?
I'm fantastic. I'm
Oh
excited
my
to be
God.
here. I'm like
I am,
energized.
right? I am so, so excited. So, we're going to start with a little surprise from Missy. She's going to take us into a little chakra breathing exercise before we begin this powerful discussion. Please take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So, you guys, I always like to ground and center before teaching a class, working with a client, or coming on to something like this. So, I would just like to offer this tool for you. If you guys aren't familiar with the chakras, we're just going to talk about the 7 main chakras. And these are energy centers that coordinate with your emotions and your feelings and actual your body organs. So we're just going to work with the second chakra today, okay, which is the space right below your belly button. So I was just going to stand up and show you, just here's my belly button, here's my second chakra, okay, and the heart chakra. Okay, you guys are probably familiar where that's at, right? Okay, so we're going to work with those two chakras. And the first thing we're going to do is breathe into the second chakra. You're going to see the orange light. That's the color that it's represented by. This is your creative center. This is where the masculine and the feminine dance to create all kinds of goodness, right? So I just invite you to create some strength and some groundedness and freedom, right? Because we're here just to be that free-flowing channel for love and light. And so we'll breathe into that. We'll ground and center to the center of the earth. And then I'm going to guide you to breathe into your heart chakra. So you're going to take all that yummy energy and place it right in your heart to bring you perfectly present and connected to love. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
So go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Roll your shoulders back a couple times. Close your eyes. And let's start by taking a deep breath in through the nose. And breathe right into that second chakra. See the orange light and exhale through the mouth. You're going to ground all the way to the center of the earth. Take another deep breath into the second chakra. See the orange light. Exhale down. Down to the center of the earth. And let's breathe in this time into that second chakra. See that which you desire to create. Maybe it is joy. Maybe it is fun, excitement. And then exhale that out, down, grounding to the center of the earth. So you can be excited, you can be nervous, but you can still be perfectly present. So one more time, breathing deeply into that second chakra. Seeing the orange light, feeling that goodness, and then exhale down. All the way to the center of the earth. And this time, I want you to go ahead and breathe into the second chakra. See the orange light. Now send that love and that light into your heart space. And then you're also going to shoot that air down to the ground. So you're feeding your heart, you're releasing, even though you're grounded, you're still connected and free. Again, breathing into that second chakra. Exhale into the heart. Feeling all that love, all that joy. And let's do it again, breathing deeply into the second chakra. Exhaling into the heart, grounding to the center of the earth. One more time, breathing into that second chakra. And exhale into the heart. And you can see the green light in the heart. You can see it expanding. You can see it pulsing. You're feeling good. You're feeling great. And then you can continue to breathe at your own pace. Totally grounded, totally connected. And when you're ready, you can slowly, gently open your eyes.
I love it.
That was great. Thank you, Ozzy.
That was amazing. I'm at ease. I know no one knows, but I was rushing to get all this going. So I'm like ready, like, hey, so we're ready for the next discussion. This is wonderful, Missy. I love it. So we're gonna start with the first topic, and it's normalize red flag behaviors in our community. And this is something that has gone on for a long time, and it still goes on, especially for at work, right? I think that's where most women deal with red flag behavior that's been normalized, and we sort of have been dealing with it and figuring it out on our own, right? Because there's no manual instruction on how to deal with sexual harassment or sexual anything that is not okay with us. So if ladies, I wanted to ask, what are some kind of the normalized red flag behaviors that you've seen in your jobs or outside in public? Charlene, I'll start with you.
I guess the biggest red flag behavior is around the whole, if I don't acknowledge it, it doesn't exist. And I don't mean if someone says they're does something to me, if I don't acknowledge it, I mean the people around me, right? Like that ostrich burying their head in the sand kind of thing. Like, no, I didn't see, so it didn't happen. Like, so I don't have to stand up. I don't have to say anything.
Right.
It's probably the biggest.
Yeah. Sasha, did you want to add?
Oh no, I was gonna like completely co-sign with Charlene because it's that gaslight behavior that people act like they don't see what's happening around you. And then if you advocate for yourself and talk about what's happening, people are like, oh, I didn't see that. Or are you sure that's what they meant? Or are you sure that's how they felt? Maybe you're reading into this. Maybe you're being too emotional. Not they're all like we've tried and women to second guess our experiences and think that they're based in some kind of emotion or not based in truth. So Charlene, that I automatically connected with that gaslighting. And then as a woman of color, as a Black woman specifically, I feel that to elevated at heightened degree, because as a Black woman, I have to be very mindful of how I'm coming across to people. I have to check my tone to make sure I'm not seen as aggressive or threatening or loud. So even if something's happening to me that is a violation and I see that red flag, if I call it out, I have to be mindful of how I'm doing it. So it like kind of puts you in this position of comforting your offender almost. And so with gaslighting, I would also say constant interruption. I work in an environment with, I would say 90% men. And something that I've become very accustomed to is just constantly being interrupted. And that doesn't sound like a red flag on its face, but that kind of dismissal of you, that invalidation of what you're saying in the moment can lead to an invalidation and a dismissal in larger things. So it starts like very small.
Right. Missy, did you want to add to that?
Well, my perspective might be a little different. I've been in a women's gym for a very long time, working with all women. So it's a totally different environment, right? Where you're not worried about somebody, just saying inappropriate things or making bad jokes or, even trying to flirt in a way that's not welcomed, So I've had that, benefit, but I know in the past, also being kind of more fun and being like one of the guys, it's like, guys will joke with you a certain way and they don't understand that maybe that's inappropriate, It's like, oh, it's a little too far. And we should be able to be like, okay, yes, I laughed at this joke, but I'm not going to laugh at this one. And then that needs to be okay. Respect that. And so, yeah, like Sasha said, again, it's like, sometimes you do have to worry, how am I going to present this in a way that it actually gets heard so they don't feel attacked, so it doesn't say I'm coming off as a bitch. But and actually, I don't care what people think about me, right? But I want to be productive in my communication.
Right.
Yes. So that's why I'm mindful about the way I communicate those things.
Right. I can't agree more. Absolutely. And Sasha, something you said about, being the Black woman in spaces of men. I actually had an experience like that at my job where there was this new lady, black woman, got into an argument with the second in command as a man, and she got fired for being herself, for speaking out, and he's still there. And I was just, I don't know. And also as a Latina woman, for me, it's not about, being cautious. I get thrown in, oh, she's Latina, so she's naturally spicy.
Yeah, and I think that's almost like a double-edged sword because it's a stereotype of you. So it's like they assume that you're going to be, spicy. So they give you that bandwidth, they give you that wavelength and that rope to be that way. But it's also like a very offensive stereotype because they're like, oh, you're expecting me to just pop off or whatever. And with Black women, it's almost like they expect the same thing, except when we do it, it's not seen as spicy. It's seen as sassy and threatening and aggressive. Like I had an experience with one of my old bosses or one of my own old team leads, and never in my life has anyone ever called me aggressive. I'm very direct with my communication because I was raised in a culture. I'm Nigerian, so I was raised in a culture where direct communication, you call a spade, and it is what it is, and then you move forward. So that's how I've always operated in my life. So corporate environments are very passive aggressive environments where that is the language of the environment, rooted in passive aggressiveness. So very long story short, one of my coworkers, an older white woman, she lied that I did something. And I always keep a paper trail because as a woman of color, that's another thing that I've been taught. You always keep a paper trail because they're ready to throw you under the bus at any moment. So I had that paper trail and I was like, no, I didn't do that. Here's the email in which her name was on it. So I directly went to her and I was like, why would you say that I did that when I didn't do that? And immediately she starts backtracking and then she starts crying and like, why are you being so mean to me? And I was like, is anyone else seeing this? Because the way I was talking to her was like how I'm talking right now. So anyways, our team lead, he comes to me and he was like, I heard that you were really mean to Donna and you made her cry and that was really aggressive of you. And I stopped him right there. And I was like, as a white man, I don't appreciate you calling me aggressive. That is very racially coded language. And never in my life have I ever been called that. And I would appreciate and respect if you do not call me that, because my behavior wasn't aggressive. And you can ask everyone that was there. And he went back and he asked everyone that was in the environment. They were like, oh my God, no. They're like, if I was Sasha and that woman did to me what she did to Sasha, I would have cussed her out. They were like, Sasha handled that situation very nice, like very well. But I knew I didn't have the luxury of being spicy or, handling it how it should have been handled. So,
right. I have a leash. You don't have a leash. So it's crazy, right? It's insane. The things that they've come up for like certain specific women, right? Okay, you're this, and this is the box, and this is your box, and boxes.
Right.
But we can still sexually do whatever we want to all of you, and it's like, no, that's not okay. It's sadly, but it happens more often than we like to admit, and more often than we ever have, I'm sure, spoken up for someone, and I did in that job. I spoke up for her and this other woman, and I was laid off very professionally, saying that I was no longer in the contract. And I was like, okay, I will take it. I'm out of here because now I have presently Aqui, so whatever.
When a door closes, a window opens, and that was your window, and now you're doing what you love, and it's beautiful.
I love it. Yeah, cause I never was okay with corporate settings because of this. The man was always the leader, and whatever they say, they goes. And the few times that I had female bosses, I would like worship them, like, oh my God, thank you. It's sad, but that's the world we live in still today. But I don't think we need to go further. I think all women know what with Me Too situations look like, feel like. So with that said, we'll move on to the next topic, mindful steps to healing and taking back our power, right? So now we're fully aware as women what those are, and there are more. Obviously, we can just have a whole hour of just talking about red flag behaviors that are normalized, right? But we need to help our sisters how to heal from those things that still occur, and still are probably, there's women out there that are in corporate jobs where they've dealt with these things and are still going through it or in a situation. What are some mindful steps to healing and for women to take back their power? Did you want to start us off, Missy?
Sure. So I was watching an interview with Tarana, what's her last name? Burke. She started the Me Too movement, and she was on the Trevor Noah show, and she talks about, we teach girls, like we have to teach women, like, okay, this is what's acceptable. Don't do this, don't do that, don't sit on anyone's lap, like when they're growing up and getting to that age where they start to develop, and you have to be aware of your body, and it's like, yes, we need to teach women about that, but she made the huge point that we need to look out for those girls too. We need to look out for each other. Right. We need to be the protectors. And so I think there does need to be more education. And that's why the Me Too movement is so powerful, because there's that empathy in there, when it's used correctly. And it's like, I feel for you. I'm there for you. How can we empower each other to love ourselves more? Because I absolutely feel like you can mind your own energy. You can stand in your power, and that stuff's not even going to come next to you. Okay, there's a way to do that too. And so learning energy, learning self-love, and all those practices can really help you in all of this.
Yeah, definitely. Sasha, did you want to add on to Missy said.
No, and I literally, I feel like we're on the same wavelength here, because that's absolutely, we have to take back that being aware and being conscious of our energy and what's happening around us. And I love that we started with that chakra meditation, the seat of our like intuition. We listen to that, we listen to our gut, and our gut never tells you wrong. And as women, we've kind of been socialized to think we are so emotional. So when we have that sixth sense, that is a blessing, we neutralize it because we don't want to be seen as emotional. And so if someone is making us feel, we pick up on energy. Most people, when you exist in a space of mindfulness, you are very aware of people's energy. So if when someone comes into your space and it feels wrong and it feels off, as women, we kind of downplay that because we don't want to be seen as emotional or reactive or anything like that. And we really have to tap into our, that brain gut connection. We really got to tap into listening to our intention or intuition, and
Right.
listening to our gut and just going with that and not feeling sorry about it. Because men show up in their spaces and they don't feel sorry about it. They say no, they say this doesn't feel right to me, and I'm gone. And they stand in it. So
Yeah.
women, we have to stand in that, and we have to like be okay with our power and be okay with being like, this doesn't feel right to me, I'm rejecting it, and I'm good. And just being aware of your body, like really firing up that intuition we've been socialized to like put to the side.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlene, did you want to add on?
Yeah, and just to further what they were saying, that ability of staying centered in yourself, in your truth, in that moment when you're having some of these conversations, especially like difficult conversations with like people you care about, not like the aggressor or someone who's said something to you, but like navigating a difficult conversation and educating someone and trying to stay centered and connected to your truth and yourself in those moments, because it can be challenging. And I know sometimes people like try to dismiss you and like, because it's not their lived experience, so they don't know it. And so just being like, no, this is my truth. And like when, that emotion mind kind of comes up and wants to take over and move past your intuition, like coming back to like, no, trusting my gut, I need to say what is in my heart, what my truth is, and staying strong in my power in those moments and not letting somebody take it from me. Right? Just staying strong in myself.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. As I'm listening to the three of you, I'm thinking, some of these women that are in corporate settings that will love to fight for their coworkers, right? But sometimes life doesn't afford them to fight for their sisters at work, right? Because they have families and they've been at this job, so let's say whatever amount of years. It just made me realize that it would be nice to have a support system, right, at work that you can call if you're not able to depend on your coworkers to fight for you. Like have like a woman hotline, like, hey, so this is going on, because honestly, I'm tired of us being crazy, right? We're crazy, we're this, we're all these words, but we're just so much more. And I think that all these names and boxes come from a place of fear, right? Because not to make this sound negative, but we don't need men, really, right? We really just we do it all already. How many of us know women that have 3 kids, 2 jobs, school, like what man have you heard do that? And then when they do it, it's like, oh my God, he's doing it. It's like,
We give them like
no.
trophies for doing what we see women do all the time. And it's like,
Correct.
women, they're just existing. That's their reality. But men like watch their children and it's like, oh my God, he's taking care of his own kids.
Right.
I'm like, he made them. Of course he should be taking care of them. Like, what?
Yeah, it's a crazy double standard there. And it's just, I wanted to really bring back the #MeToo conversation because I feel like it's dissipated through time with the things that have been going on, especially to pandemic and last year and all the craziness. But it doesn't make this go away. It doesn't make it stop. It doesn't, by ignoring it, it doesn't go anywhere. But just by ignoring it, I feel like we're reinforcing it, right?
Yeah.
So it's, go ahead.
No, I was also going to say, because I feel like we've seen women take so many big strides. Like we've seen what Stacey Abrams did in Georgia, and with Kamala Harris being in the first female vice president. I think what happens when we see women take these huge strides, it's like, okay, yay, we have rights now. You know, women are capable, so let's stop fighting for things. Like, I feel like with every kind of big win, it almost diminishes. Like people say, oh, we can't have sexism because we have a female vice president. The same way people are like, oh, racism is over because we have our first biracial president who identifies as Black. So our first Black president, now racism is not a thing because we've shattered those glass ceilings. So I feel like as women continue to shatter glass ceilings, we look to those extreme examples to say sexism doesn't exist anymore. And it's like, what? No, that's not true.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlene, did you want to say something to that?
Just to go off of what Sasha was saying, like I hear it all the time where people are like, oh, but everything's fine now. And it's like, for who? For you, baby. Like, what about like so many people? And it's maddening when it's like a male friend you're having this conversation, but it's worse when it's a woman that you're talking to and they're like, oh, everything's fine. And I'm like, in what world? I never worked in corporate settings. I worked in like the school board. And when I got hired on, we all were given retroactive money because they weren't paying the women the same pay as the men who did equivalent work, right? Which is nothing new. It took them 10 years to pay it out. I wasn't working there when this was like decided that they had to change the pay, but I benefited from it because it took them 10 years to actually pay out the money that they were ordered to pay. And this was like 10 plus 15 years ago. And like, it's still an issue. And so like, oh, great. Well, we've solved it here. And it's like, well, no, you haven't, because just because like one person solved it doesn't mean that it's fixed. And like, we run into so much of this stuff in every area, right? Like as Sasha was saying, oh, well, now we've got, Kamala Harris is the VP. That's it. We're done. We don't need to fight anymore.
We won. No. And also what people don't realize is that we live in this country, yes. And we as women are struggling with this situation all day, every day. But also there are extremes to this, right? In the Middle East, where women oppression is severe. And I always think that the day that but it's sadly to say peace in the Middle East, but when there is peace for women there, then I can feel like, okay, as a whole in the world, that we're doing better, at least moving forward in those right places. Because when one place is still stuck in the last century, we're not okay. Let's say this country, we make it, Canada makes it, and Mexico makes it, and the other side of the world is still struggling. We're still not finished. It's still not a complete fight until we're all there to be like, hey, I want to go to school, I want to go to library, I want to drive by myself, I want to do things without having a man in my like next to me to have permission, sort of, so I really think about those other places, because in this country we forget that there are other places, right? But women as a whole, I feel like we're so connected globally in so many ways that we can't forget, right? It's just never ending with this. And it's sad, and it's heavy-hearted, right, to talk about this conversation. But it needs to be still spoken. It still needs to be shared. And we have to still continue to fight, because there's going to be a next generation and a next generation. And it isn't fair that these beautiful women that are going to come in and, to inherit the earth and the planet, that we haven't done anything. We all have a responsibility to, I know it's scary and men can be scary, but I think it's scarier when they're still getting away with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So even though all of that was a little heavy-hearted, I'm going to let Sasha give us a few words of affirmations for empowerment here. I'll let you take it away, Sasha.
And I feel like that's like kind of a perfect segue, because I have like a love-hate relationship with the phrase women's empowerment, because I feel like we have always been empowered. We have just been silenced. So now we're like taking back our power, and our power has always been, we've always had that power within us, but now it's like we have permission to use our voices. And so that is something that affirmations, if you've never heard of affirmations before, they're just short, powerful statements. And to affirm something is to speak truth to it. And so with my affirmations practice, and just establishing any affirmations practice, if you're a Christian, if this may sound like, oh, that's just praying, or if you're used to manifesting, you're like, oh, that's manifesting. But the wonderful thing about affirmations is it's such a great way to change our mindset. And I feel empowerment comes in this place of it starts within us, and it starts with changing our mindset, and it starts by stepping into this space where like I am fully showing up, I'm fully advocating for myself, I'm fully existing for myself. So an affirmation practice, it can just be something as simple as before you go out into the day, before you go out into your world, it's a way to build you up and fill you with that strength, fill you with that power that I feel I need to step into the world and to lead fully with purpose and passion. And so for me, my affirmations, and anyone who's thinking about establishing an affirmations practice, is to say them in the morning. I say my affirmations as I'm making my bed, or as I'm still looking in the mirror and I'm getting ready for the day. And they have been so powerful and impactful in my life because they've helped me change my mindset. And so with Me Too and women's empowerment and Women's Herstory Month, so many ways in which we can empower ourselves in the smallest ways that can make the biggest impacts are those affirmations. So there are just a few affirmations that I offer you, and they are, I deserve to be here. Because we look around our spaces as women, and sometimes if you're working in a corporate environment, you may feel like you were hired or promoted to just fill that space as a woman. It's like, no, I deserve to be here. So yes, you absolutely deserve to be here. And the key to affirmations is to make them I statements, I am statements, so they're in the present. So one of those is, I deserve to be here. No is a complete sentence. I reserve the right to say no. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am deserving of respect. All of these very powerful statements that we take within us and we speak them. So some people like to write down empowering statements, and that's great. But affirmations, the amazing thing about them is you write them down, and there's so much power in speaking things out into the universe. So once you send it out into the universe, it's going to come back to you. And you may feel like silly saying it once. You're like, I am strong, but I don't feel strong. You say it today. You may not feel strong today, but you say it tomorrow, and you may not feel strong tomorrow. But you continue to say it, and then you start to feel it every single day because you're putting out that energy and you're manifesting it, and it's going to come to you. And how you manifest it is, it's going to start to change your mindset. It's going to start to change your actions. So you're going to show up into your spaces, and you're going to be strong, and you're going to advocate for yourself because you're like, yes, I absolutely deserve to be here. And that's one way as women, we can take back our power by something as simple as affirmations. And I just feel so strongly about this, and I could talk about it forever, and that's not what we're here for. Because y'all are like, Sasha, we got the rest of our day to get to. So like,
no, I love it. I the first two, because I do affirmations too, but I deserve to be here, and I reserve the right to say no. Those are so powerful. I love them, Sasha. They're really great. That's why I was like, ooh, let me because it's not the first time. There was a gentleman I quoted my first session. I can't remember him. It's Camille something. Well, in his book, he talks about self-love, and he didn't know how to go about it. So what he did was tell himself in the mirror over and over, I love you, 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 until the brain just clicks and you're like, oh, I do love myself. I do love myself. I do. So it works, it's true. A lot of people don't know the power of the word, right? By speaking something, it will be heard somewhere. So be careful what you say to yourself is what Sasha is pretty much saying. Be careful what you think of yourself, right? Those things are important. The thinking, just because you're not saying it out loud doesn't mean it's not being repeated in here, right?
Absolutely.
Claudia, can I add something to this?
Please, please.
Okay. I love everything Sasha said, and I'm with you 100%. And there's something that I learned recently from a man named Shaman Durek in a Clubhouse room. We've all been on Clubhouse, right?
I know Shaman Durek. Yeah, I know. I've been there.
Yeah. And I had heard this before from Louise Hay years ago. And Louise Hay is like the queen of affirmations and positive self-love, right? And in her guided meditation, she will say something like, I am strong. But immediately after that, she says, you are strong. And then she says, I am beautiful. And then she says, you are beautiful. And I just always thought, okay, that's cool. But then Shaman Durek explained it the other day on why he offered people to only say it like in the you form. And he gave people the option. He said, okay, say I am strong. And then everybody said, I am strong. And he's like, okay, feel that. Now say you are strong. And then feel that. You are strong feels more like a command, right? It's commanding. And so I was like, oh, that's why probably Louise Hay used it 2 different ways. So you can use both, but I've been switching it up. And as we know, anytime we make a change in our patterns, we're rewiring the brain anyway. So it's kind of like a new download, right? You're bypassing that code that's been locked into your brain. So you guys can try that. And I also love the writing. I love, because I'm always looking for quick hacks, right? I know affirmations work. Stuff is kicking in from when I started certain affirmations back in 2013. And I'm like, oh my God, it's my truth now. It's in my mind. But they're hacks, you guys, and we can find quicker ways to get it in, like the Shaman Durek thing, like writing it, like singing it, chanting it, and also moving with it, right?
Right.
Into it. I'm sure you teach spin classes, right, Sasha?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been giving them affirmations in class, right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. And I love that you brought like just speaking into it and movement into it and just writing things down, because in my before quarantine happened and everything, in my office I was known as the Post-it notes girl, because I hear something or I see something and I'm like, I gotta write that down. And it's just quotes and just all these little things. And I would write them down on a Post-it note. And before I knew it, there were just all these Post-it notes around my monitor. And anytime I'm having a bad day, my eyes will immediately go to something and it'll recalibrate my mindset. So even if I'm not sitting there saying those affirmations, I've written these things down and I put them in a place where I can see them. And that's also why vision boards are so powerful, because you are writing out or using visual aids to write out everything you want. You're manifesting your future and what you want from life, and you see it there. And when you see it, you can connect with that, and it changes again your thought process and how you move forward and how you show up. And it's just like so powerful. And like also with the spin class, you say, I can do this. You're like, hell yeah, I can do this. I can sprint for another 30 seconds. And it's just as simple as saying like, you can do it. And not even I can do it, but I love that you brought that in, Misty. Like, you can do it, because yes, you absolutely can. I love that.
Yeah. I like that too, because you could look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are strong and you are this, right? You, the person in the mirror. Yeah. You know, and have a conversation with yourself. Like, why not? You know, who else is going to be there for you? You know, that's what this is all about. I know in the past, we've all been, you know, we're strong women because we've been put in situations where we have to be, right? And we don't have another sister to lean on to, but I know that is completely different now. And things are changed. People are reaching out more. People are more supportive than ever before. And I really hope that it just continues to grow. And that's a great lead into the next topic, creating a loving sisterhood. And that's so important. Charlene, how would you recommend for someone to create a sisterhood if they've never had female friends, or they're not able to? I know there's a lot of women out there like, oh, I don't get along with women, and you know, that's kind of crazy because there's a conditioning there as to why you're not able to connect with other females.
I would suggest first listening to that voice that is telling you, I can't connect with other women, I don't get along with other women, because that is just a thought. And thoughts are not facts. They are just thoughts. And we let sometimes our thoughts hold us back from, reaching out to someone. Oh, they don't want to hear this. Oh, I don't get along well with women, right? And investigating and being curious to why is that? Like, what is going on? Is it something that I'm putting up walls or resistance? Is it I'm trying to connect with the wrong people, right? You see all the time people like, I had such a hard time making friends. But it's stepping out first, and it's trying, and it's, coming to.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like saying hello in a group, and it's connecting. I mean, like the four of us here tonight, we don't know each other. We I met Claudia through Facebook, I believe, Instagram. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, I had someone from Clubhouse referred you to me. Yeah.
Yeah, we started a conversation, and then it led to this, right? Because I didn't let that voice of like, well, she's not going to want me on her show, to hold me back. When we let go of these thoughts and the power of them, it's like Sasha's affirmations, right? It's changing that script. It's rewiring those neural pathways by noticing what the thought is and changing it.
Yeah, I can't agree more. The self-inquiry is so important, right? Why? Because I used to be that girl. It's why I bring it up. I used to be the girl. I don't get along with women. I hang out with guys all the time. Until that changed, and I was like, oh, no, I'll hang out with women, and I don't even want to hang out with guys anymore. Honestly, I don't anymore. I really love this space and the women that I've met. Sasha, how would you recommend for other women to create a sisterhood?
Yeah, so for me, I have 4 sisters, 2 brothers. I have a mom. Like, I have just always naturally gravitated towards other women because I've always found my warmth in my connections with women, my sisters. And like this 2-minute period in my life where I was like, I'm a guy's girl. And I was like, being a guy's girl actually sucks. And I like prefer the company of women. And I think that we have to, well, not, I think that I know, again, it's the way we are socialized as women to see other women as our competition. And it's a very limiting belief. It's a very limiting mindset. And so what I would offer other women is to stop looking at the next woman as your competition. Like, I legitimately feel like in this lifetime, I don't have competition at all. I have the only person I'm competing against is the person I wake up and see in the mirror every single day. And everyone else is just someone else I can build up. So I'm a big believer in building a bigger table. So when you see another woman or when you open a door, it's on you to keep that door open for the next person behind you. And you build up your circle of women. And you, again, I like hate this word. I have strong negative feelings about the word empowerment because I think the way we use it is very watered down and wishy-washy. But in this tense, it's really empower the next woman. So be the woman and be the sister that you would want. When you are in a space full of women, your thoughts should be, how can I build with them? How can I grow with them? How can I connect with them? And I think just being open like that, when you are mentally open like that, it changes your energy, and your energy, it shows up in your body, and your body shows someone that is open and able to connect with other women. So just be open to being the kind of sister you would want someone to be to you.
I love that. Absolutely. If you're looking for a specific, if you're is your first and you want to start, be that person. I definitely love that because it's the same thought. Like, if you're looking for a partner, I don't care what partner it is that you're into. If you want something specific from the person you want to meet, are you those qualities too? So it's the same idea for anyone you want to attract, right? So for me, creating Presently Aqui, and this is my 6th webinar, and the people that I've met thus far, including you wonderful ladies, I mean, I did it. You have to really embody what you want to be around wonderful human beings that are out there. They're out there. You know, some of us have a conditioned mindset where you can't trust anybody, or, you know, the world sucks. And yeah, of course, all those things are true. I'm not saying they aren't, but if that's your truth, that's only what you're going to see, right? If you shift that and you start seeing the opposite is true, because if something exists, the opposite exists. So there are loving people out there that I can trust in. Because I start these webinars, I like Charlene said, I don't know you, but I trust you and what you're bringing to the table. I don't have to be like, okay, Charlene, this is what you're gonna say, Sasha's gonna say, and this is what you're gonna say. No way. No way. No, absolutely not. So you have to trust that the people you surround yourself with, or that you want to welcome into your space, that you trust, and they will show up for you, because I am proof right now as we're speaking. Hello. So, Missy, how would you recommend women to start a sisterhood?
So what's coming up for me right now? Is this quote. I actually found a quote when I was getting ready for today, and it's Aung San Suu Kyi, and she says, when you're feeling helpless, help someone. You know, and this whole idea about this word empowerment, I get you. I have certain words like that I'm just like, can we just, can we frame that differently? Because I believe it starts with self-empowerment. And I believe that from this place, I will naturally gravitate to bringing in my sisters, right? I will naturally start to become a leader, because once you cultivate that connection with yourself, your higher self, with God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, the Tao, like that universal intelligence, once you start to get that, you will know that you are never alone. Okay. And even in these situations where we feel helpless, like, dang, I'm in this job, people are treating me unfairly. For myself, I'll speak for myself. I know that I can go within, I can sit, I can pray and be like, God, help me see this differently. Help me find a solution. There's a spiritual solution to all earthly problems. And so it started with me learning how to meditate, learning how to, retrain my brain, and connect to a higher wisdom and ask for help, right? And so from there, that's how I believe in leading by example. So I share my path, I share my tools. And yes, it also helps being my community was all women, right? In Glendale when I was in LA. And so for years, it was all about women. And I never consciously thought, I'm going to help women. I'm going to be a coach for women. But then I noticed, like, okay, everybody who's coming to me is a woman. And they are mostly leaders, teachers, entrepreneurs, business women, even, single moms. So it's like, my heart goes out to them. My heart goes out to single moms everywhere because of how hard my mom worked and kept me in a really good space growing up. So it's just like will attract like. And so it's just being willing to be that love and that light. And then like you get an idea, you took action. So for me, I have this new idea about I'm going to help entrepreneurs with abundance. So I'm taking action. I'm creating the course. You know what I mean?
Right.
So but I believe that comes from my own cultivation and meditation practice.
Right. One thing I want to add to that, for some of you that aren't able to step into your power just yet, there are other organizations, right? Most women feel comfortable joining an organization that is particular to your community. So if that's you, then definitely look that up. There are plenty of organizations of women out there to help other women in anything. It's just, if you're looking for it, you're going to find it. But if you aren't, you're not going to find it, right? So just know that there are a lot of us out there ready and waiting for you to come and say, hey, I need help. And, I'm sure the three of us, none of us will be like, no, we're not interested, go away. That's, that's who we're here for. And I wanted to make this space for all women that are watching. You feel free to reach out to me. Ladies, you agree, they can reach out to you if they feel like helpless, hopeless in any way. They can reach out to us, and just anything. I got a comment, ladies, your words tonight. Oh, I love it. So with that said, I'm gonna let Charlene take us into her mindful exercise. Please take it away.
So we're going to do a meditation because as we've been talking about, learning how to connect in to notice what's going on so you can find your truth in your voice. Because before learning mindfulness, I was silent and felt silence all the time and didn't know how to speak out. But mindfulness helped me find my voice and taught me how to use it. So we're going to do a short practice. Just sitting wherever you are, get comfortable. You can kind of sit sort of more upright if that feels helpful. Closing your eyes or having just a soft gaze. You're not really looking at anything. I'm going to ring a bell at the end so you'll know when the practice ends. And we're going to start by just breathing. I breathe in and out. Breathing at your own pace. There's no need to change it in any way. Just breathe. Our breath is what we're going to use to guide ourselves into this practice. It's our port in the storm. It's something we can come back to whenever we notice that things are getting tough. And noticing where in your body the breath is most vibrant, most visible. Maybe it's with the rising and falling of the belly or the chest. Maybe even just noticing the air as it enters, cycles through, and as it leaves. For this practice, we're going to put out what's called the welcome mat. So like you would see in front of a house, in front of a door, a welcome mat to welcome in and greet whatever thoughts might be here in this moment. Greeting them like an old friend. Noticing this thought that arises, if it's one that comes up often, just allowing it to come and to sit around for as long as it wants. Not actively hanging on to thoughts or pushing them away. We're just being with them, sitting with them, noticing them. And sometimes we notice the thoughts and we sit with them. Sometimes they like to bring emotions along with them. Again, welcoming them, greeting them like an old friend. Oh, hello, anxiety. Welcome, have a seat. Oh, hi, anger. It's good to see you again. Come in, join me. Welcoming in and greeting everything that you can hear in this moment. And now putting your awareness to sensations in the body, because everything is connected. Our thoughts are connected to our emotions, which are connected to our body. Right? And they all feed off of each other. You might notice certain thoughts bring up like a pit in the stomach, or you might notice tightness in the shoulders when an emotion arises. Right? Like fear manifests and anxiety manifests in my belly. I feel nauseous. Maybe that's what's coming up for you, maybe something different. Maybe you're just feeling some content or at peace. Maybe you're noticing that this conversation has brought up a lot of thoughts or emotions. Again, just welcoming them. Come in, be here, have a seat. When we allow them to just come to go at their own pace, notice that we don't stick around. It's our thoughts that keep our emotions around. Right? As we talked about tonight, what we think is what's manifested in our body with our emotions and sensations. And now we've allowed everything to be here. Coming back to the breath to breathe our way through what's here. Noticing and just being with it. Using the breath to help guide us out of this practice the way it helped to guide us in. Breathing in and breathing out. And when you hear the bell, you can open your eyes and come back to the breath.
Thank you, Charlene.
You're welcome.
Love that. I really enjoyed that. I'm sure it's truly helpful. I liked how you pointed out that maybe for someone out there watching, something triggered, right? And now you're able to, what do I do with all this? And oh my, I'm sure for some women there's PTSD in that, right? As we're having these discussions. So I love that you kind of like say, hey, come into my house. Hi, anxiety. Hi, worry, doubt, fear, whatever. Have a seat. Here's some tea. I love that. I'm sure it's truly helpful for some women out there. So thank you so much for that. So before we close out, I wanted to see Charlene, Sasha, Missy, did you ladies want to add anything else?
Well, I wanted to thank you for inviting me to your platform. I've learned like new things already this evening for both Missy and Charlene, and there are things that I can take to my practice and my world. And thank you. I appreciate this platform that you're using it for to do amazing things. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. So I wanted to I wanted to remind everyone, because of Charlene's meditation, that the breath is always the secret. And I always say, always lead with love. Whatever, let's say you're overwhelmed with emotions and thoughts and whatever else, your kids, just always come back to the breath. Even if you only have time for 3 deep breaths, that will be ever changing for you for that moment. So always use that. And I wanted to close out and say to all of you ladies, let the audience know where they can find you. Charlene, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at The Mindfulness Journey. That's probably the best place. And that's the name of my business, the name of my website. So The Mindfulness Journey, you can find me there.
Right. Missy?
Instagram at Coach Missy Moreno. I changed it because I noticed everyone had their handle in their title. I was like, let me change mine. And my website is themissymoreno.com.
Love that. Sasha?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram as the Sasha Whitney. My podcast is Sasha Spins. And I'm in the process of finally getting my website changed over. So I haven't decided on a name yet. So the best place to reach me is on Instagram at the Sasha Whitney.
I love it. And I hope that today's webinar helped some of you gain deeper insight into yourselves, ladies, and know that this is a safe space for you. So tune in next month as a follow-up to this powerful discussion. I will be highlighting the vulnerable masculine, and I will be joined by remarkable conscious gentlemen. So I'm so excited because this is a much needed conversation following up this one, right? So I definitely had to do it. If today's episode resonated with any of you, please like, subscribe, and share with any other women that might need to hear some of our words today. And thank you again, Missy, Sasha, and Charlene, for sharing your light and presence with us today. And a great big thank you to the audience. Thank you for always showing up. For those that keep coming back, I truly appreciate you. And my wish for all of you is to find the courage and strength to start a path of self-love, because you deserve that and more. So thank you all again. I am so happy for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you.
Great.
This was fantastic.